Here are 7 reasons why I do not believe in zodiac signs or horoscopes. The belief in astrology is so prevalent that many people they casually post and reshare information having to do with astrology. Many people, when they're in conversation with you, one of the first questions they ask you is, "When's your birthday?" And they think that because they know your birthday, they can somehow define who you are as a person. I'm going to give you 7 reasons why I don't believe in zodiac signs or horoscopes. 7 reasons why I reject astrology. Number one, it's built on confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency to interpret evidence as proof of what you already believe while ignoring evidence that's inconsistent with what you believe. Let's say you believe that Pisces are shy people. And let's say you have a friend who's Pisces. If that person is shy, then that reinforces your confirmation bias. Let's say you have 10 friends who are Pisces and 10 of them are shy. Again, that reinforces your belief that Pisces must be shy people because I know Pisces and they're shy people. But here's the problem. There are millions of people who are Pisces and they're not shy. But you're not thinking about these people because they don't fit within the preconceived notions that you've already created for yourself. In fact, within your circle, you may have many friends who are Pisces who are not shy either. But because you already want to hold on to a confirmation bias that you believe that Pisces people are shy people, and because you can point to 10 friends who are Pisces and shy, then any examples of people out there who are Pisces and not shy, you're going to downplay those examples and you're going to disregard them and they're not going to come to the forefront of your mind. Confirmation bias is a very, very problematic way at looking at life. Confirmation bias makes you cherry pick information that backs up what you want to believe, and it makes you blatantly disregard the information that contradicts things that you don't want to believe. Confirmation bias is an error that people commit in many areas in life, in science and religion and politics and the opinions they have in many, many subjects. And confirmation bias is one of the foundations of astrology. It's an extremely faulty way to look at life. Number two, when you believe in astrology, when you believe in horoscopes, when you believe in zodiac signs, it makes you put people into artificial boxes. People come in an extremely wide array of shapes and sizes. Human beings have a tremendously broad spectrum of emotions, personalities, temperaments, preferences, and dislikes. If you subject yourself to believing in horoscopes and zodiacs, you're now ignoring the uniqueness of people and you're putting them inside of a box. If you believe that cancers hold certain character traits, then you're going to automatically paint all cancers with the same brush, even if the cancers you know are completely different from each other. Believing in horoscopes and zodiacs makes you oversimplify people, and it makes you create categories for people which may not even necessarily be correct to begin with. Number three, believing in astrology justifies wrong behavior. A lot of people use their zodiac sign as a justification for their harmful and toxic and immoral and negative behavior. How many people have you heard say something like, "I can't help it, I'm a Leo. I'm unforgiven because it's my way as a Gemini"? If you go online and you look through your social media newsfeed, you will see that regardless of the actual zodiac sign of a person, if a person wants to justify their bad actions, their bad behavior, their unforgiving nature, or whatever negative quality they have, they're going to automatically use their zodiac sign as their excuse. Zodiac signs makes people have self-destructive behavior. And what it does, it frees people from accountability. What people do is that they blame their zodiac sign for things that they absolutely have control over. It's a very, very toxic, immature, and a destructive way of looking at life when you constantly blame your bad decisions, your bad reactions, your bad behavior, your immorality, your negativity, and whatever distasteful qualities you have about yourself, you're using your zodiac sign as an excuse. So what it does is it justifies wrong behavior. Number 4, horoscopes make very broad and very vague statements that can apply to anyone. In psychology, there's a cognitive bias phenomenon known as the Barnum effect. This means that people have tendencies to believe that a very generic statement applies to them specifically. Let me give you some examples. Let's do an experiment right now, and I bet I can read your mind and I can read your personality. You sometimes have a tendency to be critical of yourself. You have a lot of potential that you've not yet tapped into. You sometimes have doubts whether or not you've made the right decision. Did I say anything in those past 3 sentences that was true about you? If I did, it's not because I have psychic ability. It's not because I could read your mind. It's not because I could look into your soul. It's not because you're an Aquarius or a Libra. It's because these statements are so broad and they're so vague. They can apply to any person. Anybody can use any one of these generic statements to apply to themselves. So the whole concept of believing in horoscopes make absolutely no sense. Number 5, believing in astrology and zodiac signs and horoscopes are not built on any true foundation. If you believe in horoscopes and zodiac signs, where do you get your information from? What's your source of authority? Is it a website? Is it a newspaper? Is it a person? Is it a meme that you saw somebody share on your newsfeed? Anyone can use their phone or their computer and type up what they believe is true for any zodiac sign. Anyone can make up any type of comment or statement and put it online, and their content is based on whatever personal opinions that person has. But where is the true foundation? What is the source of authority? Horoscopes and zodiacs are not built on any centralized foundation of truth. Number 6, astrology is self-contradictory. Believing in zodiac signs and horoscopes, it's self-contradictory. There is information online that supports whatever you want to believe. If you want to believe a Capricorn is short-tempered, you will find something online that says Capricorns are short-tempered. If you want to believe Capricorns are patient, you can find something online that says Capricorns are patient. If you want to believe a Virgo will make a good husband or a good wife, you will find something online that says so. And you will find other things that say the very opposite, that Virgos make terrible husbands or terrible wives. Let me just show you a few examples. Here is a website that deals with horoscopes. And according to this website, yourtango.com, it talks about the zodiac compatibility for Aries, people who are born between March 21st to April 19th. This says the best zodiac compatibility for an Aries is a Libra. All right? Don't miss that. According to this person that created this content online, they said that the best compatible zodiac sign for an Aries is a Libra. A relationship between Aries and Libra is one that is built on a lot of love and affection. There are some people who believe that opposite personalities can never work when it comes to love, but for these 2 signs, it works and it works well. Are you getting this? Aries is definitely the more excitable partner, while Libra is more subdued, but in some weird way, it works for you. This mix of energies means this relationship is never boring because there's always a new adventure awaiting around the corner. So if this is what you believe, if you believe that Aries and Libra are compatible and they make good spouses, good partners, then that should mean that nowhere in the world is there ever a breakup that's ever happened between somebody who's Aries and a Libra. And is that true? Absolutely not. There are many people who are Aries and many people who are Libra who have dated and married and who've broken up. So this is ridiculous. But what I wanted to point at is, according to this, the best sign for an Aries is a Libra. But watch this. When you look at what's the best sign for a Libra, it says Gemini. That contradicts what it just said. I'm looking at the same website. It just said the best zodiac sign for an Aries is a Libra. So shouldn't that logically mean the best zodiac sign for a Libra is an Aries? Shouldn't that make logical sense? But when you go down to Libra, it says that the best compatibility for a Libra is a Gemini. A Libra and Gemini match is a fun one because you both love being social, but you both bring different energies to your social lives. Gemini is the more chatty one who will strike up a conversation with anyone, while Libra is more of the one who makes everyone feel welcome in a group. Gemini and Libra bounce off of each other and bounce off of each other really well in a way that makes for a very harmonious, supportive relationship. You're both also very diplomatic, making each other feel loved, but making honesty a priority in your partnership. So even within the same website, the same web page, the information contradicts, and you see this on social media all the time. So I have thousands of examples like this. It is self-contradictory. How about this one? The worst signs to marry as an Aries. So if you are a so-called Aries, you're born between March 21st to April 20. The worst signs to marry. This says Aries folks probably shouldn't get involved with a Pisces or a Cancer. Are we clear about that? If you're born between March 21st to April 20, you should not get involved with a Pisces or a Cancer. But when you go to this next website, starregistry.com, exploring the astrological dynamics of Aries and Pisces, it says that the differences can turn into a strong bond that changes both. And if you understand and show compassion, they can grow to have a deep and lasting union. So are Aries and Pisces compatible, or are they not compatible? Both cannot be true. Either these signs are compatible or they're incompatible. But again, this goes back to the notion that believing in horoscopes is self-contradictory. You can make up any characteristics about any sign, and you can make up any information and any personal opinion about any two signs, and you can make yourself believe whatever it is you want to believe. It makes absolutely no sense. Just an anecdotal evidence here, but there are many, many like this one. For me, some of you know what my birthday is. Many of you don't. And for purposes of this illustration, I'm not going to tell you what my birthday is, because it's just going to demonstrate how you're going to put me inside of a box based on whatever preconceived notions you believe about people born within the same time of year as I do, as I am. Now, there's an individual, I'm not going to say this person's name, but me and this individual have the same exact birthday, same month, same day. And me and this individual, we could not be any more different. I'm somebody where I'm slim and I love to work out. I placed a lot of value in physical fitness. But it turns out this person who shares my so-called zodiac sign, this person is overweight, and I don't say that as an insult to him. I'm just describing him. He's an overweight person, and he does not care about physical fitness. He never ever exercises. He never ever works out. Never ever on his priority. Working out is a fundamental part of my life. For him, it could not be any more non-existent. For me, I love public speaking. I love the limelight. I love opportunities where I can get the spotlight. That's me. I love to be in the center of a crowd making a speech. I like to get people's attention. That's my personality. But guess what? The same person that has my zodiac sign, we're born the same month, the same day, very, very different. He is more behind the scenes, and he hates being the center of attention. Doesn't do public speaking well. Doesn't care for that stuff. Me, I'm somebody, I like to challenge authority. I'm somebody where I speak up. I don't really care much about the consequences of certain things. I'm somebody where I'm very, very vocal when there are things that happen that I disagree with. This individual obeys authority and avoids confrontation. He doesn't like conflict. Very, very different from me. I'm somebody where I am direct, I'm straightforward in how I approach people, and this person is more diplomatic and more tactful in how he approaches people. And this is just a short list, but I have many, many more examples in which me and this individual who was born on the same month, the same day as we share virtually nothing in common. And there are other people I know, even in my social media account, some of you that may be watching this video, we have the same birthday or we have the same so-called zodiac sign, and there's very, very few things that we have in common. There are enough differences between people within the same sign that the whole concept of believing in zodiac signs is self-contradictory and nonsensical. And finally, if you are a Bible-believing Christian and you claim that you believe in zodiac signs, then that's a problem. That's inconsistent. See, astrology is consistently condemned by the Bible. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 9 to 14, the word of God tells us, when you enter the land the Lord your God has given you, do not learn to imitate the detestable ways of the nations there. Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughter in the fire, or who practices divination or sorcery, or interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who's a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. Because of these same detestable practices, the Lord your God will drive out these nations before you. You must be blameless before the Lord your God. The nations you will dispossess listen to those who practice sorcery or divination. But as for you, the Lord your God has not permitted you to do so. So this idea of believing in astrology, in the eyes of God, it's in the same category as witchcraft, the same category as sorcery, the same category as sacrificing kids, as practicing divination, as interpreting omens. These are all in the same category, and these were detestable, hateful, abominable practices that pagan and heathen nations did throughout history. And God warned the people of Israel, these are lifestyles and behaviors that you should not be practicing yourself. God says he wants his people to be blameless, and anybody who engages in that type of lifestyle that tries to seek out signs from the heavens and believes in interpreting signs and omens and things of that nature, that they're all in the same category as witchcraft, and they're all detestable, hateful things that God does not permit his people to be involved in. Let's look at Isaiah chapter 47, verses 13 to 15. The Bible says, all the counsel you have received has only worn you out. Let your astrologers come forward, those stargazers who make predictions month by month. Let them save you from what is coming upon you. Surely they are like stubble. The fire will burn them up. They cannot even save themselves from the power of the flame. These are not coals for warmth. This is not a fire to sit by. That is all they are to you. These you have dealt with and labored with since childhood. All of them go on in their error. There is not one that can save you. So the tone of voice that God has towards astrologers and people that pay attention to the heavens and stars and tries to interpret them to have meanings in people's personalities and temperaments and destinies. God is saying that the people who do this as a profession, they can't even save themselves, let alone have other people rely on them. God is very, very clear that all people who rely on astrology, who are involved in astrology, they are in error. And let's look at a final text, Daniel chapter 2. The Bible says in the second year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams. His mind was troubled and he could not sleep. So the king summoned the magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, and astrologers to tell him what he had dreamed. When they came in and stood before the king, he said to them, I've had a dream that troubles me, and I want to know what it means. You go down to verse 10. The astrologers answered the king, there is no one on earth who can do what the king asks. No king, however great and mighty, has ever asked such a thing of any magician or enchanter or astrologer. What the king asks is too difficult. No one can reveal it to the king except the gods, and they do not live among humans. Verse 27. Daniel replied, no wise man, enchanter, magician, or diviner can explain to the king the mystery he has asked about, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in days to come. Your dream and the visions that pass through your mind as you are lying in bed are these. And then if you continue reading the chapter, Daniel explains the cryptic dream that Nebuchadnezzar had. The point I wanted us to understand here is in Daniel chapter 2, Daniel is a man of God. He's somebody who is righteous. He's somebody that has faith in the Lord. And he is juxtaposed. He is put in a position where he is the opposite of what astrologers are. The king had a bunch of soothsayers and magicians and astrologers where they could not help the king in interpreting his destiny. They could not help him in clarifying the dreams and visions he had. But Daniel, who was a man of God, he separated himself from the astrologers to say, look, all these other folks out there who are diviners and astrologers, they can't explain the mysteries that you're encountering, but there's a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. There's a God in heaven that reveals secrets. So we see here that Daniel is in a separate category, a different category from the folks who are astrologers. So once again, the Bible consistently paints astrologers as something, as a profession that is contrary to the nature of God. It is something that is at odds with the nature of God. It is something that is in inconsistency, in misalignment to the will of God. So hopefully these arguments, the logical arguments as well as the biblical arguments, will show that we should not be believing in zodiac signs and horoscopes and the whole concept of astrology. Let's try to move away from this. It's something that it's very, very popular. It's something that a lot of people casually accept. I know a lot of people grow up thinking that there's some meaning behind signs and it's a way to define a person and to figure out a person. But logically speaking, psychologically speaking, scientifically speaking, and biblically speaking, there is no authentic reason that we should be believing in such things, and hopefully we can stop promoting these false ideologies.